Hey everyone! While Charlie is inspecting the coffee table, I'm going to tell you about my experience with the Roborock Q10 S5. I tested it for a full month and the title of this video already gives away the ending. I'm sending it back. And here's the thing, on paper and even in my first impressions video, this device started off really strong. Great suction, great navigation, a surprisingly good app and obstacle avoidance I could really trust. So how did we go from pleasantly surprised to this is going back in the box? Stick around because the answer is a slow build. And by the end, you will understand exactly why I made that call. This is the full review. I have already done my first impressions and my obstacle course of this machine. So if you want an early take and the full obstacle test, those are already up on the channel. Links in the description. In this one, I am putting everything together. The unboxing, the specs, the app, navigation, vacuuming, mopping, maintenance, and stuff that honestly tipped me over the edge. So let's get into it. I will keep the unboxing short because I went into the out-of-box feel in detail in my first impressions. So check that one if you want the full thing. The quick version. The build feels plastic, but it does not feel cheap. It is plastic that is put together really well and it feels solid when you pick it up. The base station looks a little odd at first, but it's genuinely practical. And I love that it does not have a ramp the robot drives up to. So the robot does not shove the dock across the floor every time it docks. Roborock even throws in a thin floor protector for under the station. Nice touch. The one design choice that I'm not a fan of, and I will come back to this, is that the dustbin and the water tank are built into one combined unit. And also the HEPA filter is not protected by a mesh screen. Hold that thought. And now the specs. Quick and to the point, you get 10,000 pascals of suction, which Roborock calls hyperforce. And there's a 5,200 mAh battery, good for around 150 minutes on a charge. Navigation runs on the top-mounted LiDAR sensor for the mapping, plus a single-line laser and structured light sensor on the front for the obstacle avoidance, which Roborock also gave a fancy name. There is no camera on this device, so it cannot actually identify what it is looking at. For mopping, it uses the Rise 2.0 system, a single mop pad that vibrates, and the brushes are part of Roborock's dual anti-tangle setup, but the main brush is just a standard brush. Now let's talk about the software, because this is one of the genuinely good parts. The app is well built. I will be honest, I do not find it the most intuitive app I have used. It took me a moment to find my way around, but once you do, it is solid and packed with options. What I really liked is that it showed obstacles on the map. Now remember, the Q10 S5 has no camera, so it cannot tell you that is a sock or that is a cable the way a camera-based robot can, but it still neatly marks on the map when it detected an obstacle there, which is more than a lot of devices in this class bother to do. One quick setup tip, because this one nearly drove me up the wall, getting into the Wi-Fi was a pain. It just refused to connect. Turns out it's a known thing with Roborock vacuums. The fix that worked for me is that I turned off the mobile data on my phone. And then it connected straight away. So if you hit the same wall, try that first. It might save you a lot of frustration. Now navigation. This is where the Q10 S5 actually shines. And I want to give the credit where credit is due. When it mapped my place, it split the rooms up by itself automatically into separate rooms. And it got that right away. Remember, this thing has no camera. It is doing this purely on LiDAR and laser. And it still nailed the room division. Genuinely impressive. It moves through the room in a calm and logical pattern. It handles my coffee table of doom reasonably well, which is more than I can say for some robots. And it climbs over my 2 cm threshold without any drama. The obstacle avoidance I tested properly in my dedicated obstacle video. But here is the headline. It detected basically every obstacle I put in front of it. The slippers, the toys, the fake poop, even the white phone charger, which is actually the first device I have tested that spotted the white charger. The only thing that it missed were the black sock and black extension cord. And that lines up well with the rule that holds for pretty much every robot vacuum without a camera. Darker objects on the floor are harder to spot. Light stuff it sees. Dark stuff on the floor is where they struggle. So as obstacle avoidance go, this is a strong result. The one caveat, and I flagged this in my first impressions too, is that it is cautious, quite cautious actually. A bit like the Xiaomi Robotvacuum 5. It refuses to go under my chair with slanted legs, and it even skips my stool with straight legs, where there is plenty of clearance. So it plays it safe and leaves a lot of those spots for you to clean yourself. Safe, reliable, but it's not going to squeeze into every gap. So far so good. The navigation, trustworthy. Obstacle avoidance, smart app. If the video ended here, this would be a recommendation. But it does not end here. Now let's talk about picking up actual dirt, because this is where things start to wobble. On hard floors, the pickup is just fine. It grabs the dirt, the floor feels clean enough, but it is nothing special, just fine. Same story on my doormat, perfectly okay for everyday stuff. The first real problem is the corner coverage. It is flat out the worst of every device I have tested. There is no extendable side brush, so it simply cannot reach into corners the way a device like the S40 Pro, and it leaves a noticeable amount of dirt sitting right in the corner. If clean corners matter to you, I would already be looking elsewhere. But then there is an issue that built up slowly over the month, and this is a big one in my opinion. I started noticing the pickup was getting worse and worse, so I opened the dustbin to empty it, and the HEPA filter is completely packed with dust and hair. Now, like a lot of devices, there is no mesh screen between the dustbin and the HEPA filter. That is the thing I told you to hold on to earlier. With no mesh screen, the bigger bits of dirt and hair can actually get into the filter and clog it up. I cleaned the filter out with another vacuum and it ran fine again. Then I did the carpet test, opened it up again, and the filter was packed again. I even got a blockage notification during this month. 3 times in one single month I ran into this. And here is why that frustrates me so much. My Xiaomi S40 Pro also has no mesh screen, and I will be honest, I kinda neglect that thing, and I've never had clogging anywhere near this bad. So it is not just missing a mesh screen, something about the setup clogs faster as well. Now in fairness, if you buy the Q10 S5 Plus version with the bigger base station that auto empties the bin, you are probably going to deal with this a lot less. But on this version, with the small dock, it became a real annoyance. On top of that, the machine has a bad habit of dropping what it just picked up. After it vacuumed up larger particles, a chunk would often fall back out of the suction mouth the moment the machine stopped or I lifted it. And a lot of dirt will get stuck between the little combs inside the machine, only to fall back out later during another run. Now carpets, and this is a mixed and mostly frustrating story. A normal rug, the pickup itself is fine, roughly on par with the L10S Pro Gen 3 and a touch behind the S40 Pro, so the suction is there. The problem is thin lightweight carpets. Watch this. It does a little dance with it. Over and over it got tangled on the rug, bunched the whole thing up, and started driving around in circles, dragging it along. For comparison, the L10S Pro Gen 3 would not even climb onto the thin carpet, but at least it did not bunch it up, and the S40 Pro managed to get on with a bit of effort and a little bit of bunching, but the Q10 S5 just balled it up and spun. So for this thin rugs, I cannot recommend this device at all. The highpile carpet was no success either. To be fair, it was better than the S40 Pro here, but the S40 Pro is about as bad as you can get on a highpile carpet, so that is a low bar, and it was clearly worse than the L10S Pro Gen 3. It had a lot of trouble even climbing onto the carpet. It did grab some rice and popcorn kernels, but halfway though it threw in an error. The fall detection had triggered, and when I lifted the machine off the carpet, water leaked out into the carpet, which again comes straight back in a combo water tank. It did pull the hair off the rug and the carpet, but as you can see, the hair was wound up and stuck in the brush, both times. The S40 Pro handles hair in the brush noticeably better. So to sum up the vacuuming, hard floors and doormats are fine, nothing special. Highpile carpets, a lot of trouble, I would not recommend it for that. Thin rugs, a hard no, and corners, look elsewhere. The suction is okay, it is everything around the suction that is a letdown. Now let's look at the mopping. And this is a different approach from the spinning mop pads I have tested on the other devices. The Roborock uses one big pad that vibrates, and unlike the dreamy L10S Pro Gen 3 with the Robo Swing or the S40 Pro with its extending mopping, there is no extending mop pad or nothing to swing out towards the baseboard. so it is not built to get tight into corners and edges while mopping either. First thing, the noise. For my taste, it makes a really irritating sound when it mops, and it's just not me. My wife was not a fan either. And Charlie, every single time the Q10 S5 started mopping, she wanted to go outside. When the dog is folding with her paws, you know something is off. On the positive side, the water distribution is nice and even. I actually think this could be a good device if you have dark shiny floors and hate seeing water streaks, because it lays the water down cleanly. After a run, the floors felt reasonably clean, and for daily light dirt, it probably works fine. Nothing special, but fine. The trouble starts with heavy stains. I am talking dried ketchup and dried jam. For this kind of mess, this device is simply not suitable. It cannot scrub a tough stain away. Instead, it smears it out, and then it gets weird. It looks like it registers the stain, but it just spreads everything around. And at one point, it almost seems to get a bit of angry, takes a little run up and rams straight into the table where my camera was standing on. I am not making this up. By the end, my kitchen was sticky, dirty, and I had to give it a proper manual clean afterwards. Because the Q10 S5 wet everything and smeared it around, there was ketchup in the brush, in the suction inlet, on the wheels, everywhere. This mess was bigger after the robot than before it. So for any kind of intensive mopping, this is not your machine. So, let's pull it all together. Why did I send it back? Let me start with what it does well, because it is not all bad. The navigation is genuinely good, the app is well built, and I like that it shows obstacles. And the obstacle avoidance is reliable. It caught nearly everything I threw at it. On those 3 points, this is a good device. But then the list of frustrations starts stacking up. The quarter cleaning is the worst I have tested. The HEPA filter clogged up 3 times in a single month. The dustbin and the water tank are crammed into one combined unit. So every time I want to empty the bin, I am carrying the water too. If there is any water left in it, it leaks. Basically every time. When I pick up the machine, dirt regularly falls out of it. On thin rugs, it bunches them up and it spins. On a highpile carpet, it struggles and even errored out. The vacuuming noise is okay, although it is slightly higher and more irritating tone than the S40 Pro, and the mopping noise was a no for me, my wife, and for Charlie. For light mopping it is fine, but it cannot handle real stains. And when it tries, it makes the mess even worse. And here is my honest reasoning. A nice app and good navigation, even if that navigation is a little too cautious, just is not enough for me to keep this device when everything around causes this much friction. Day to day, those small frustrations added up to a machine I knew I would barely use. And if I am barely going to use it, it might as well go back. So it did. If your home is mostly hard floors, you mainly want light daily mopping, you do not care about corner coverage, and especially if you go with the Q10 S5 Plus with the bigger auto empty dock, you might have a much better time than I did. But for my home and what I ask of a device, it was a return. Let me know what you think about the device. And as always, a big shout out to Robostofzuigers.nl. They do not stock this particular Roborock, but if you live in the Netherlands or Belgium, they have lots of other great devices for sharp prices, and their service is top-notch. So check out their website by clicking the link in the description and see what actually fits your home. And if you got something out of this video, the best thing you can do is hit the subscribe button and stick around. We are really getting close to monetization, and every single minute of watch time helps me to get there and test more machines for you. So thank you for that. It means a lot. So this is my full verdict of the Roborock Q10 S5. Let me know in the comments if you have had the same filter and rug headaches, or if the Plus version solved them for you. I am very curious. See you in the next one. Peace out. Godsamme zeg.